for a rocket engine manufacturer for 14 years. And right in the heyday of the space age, so it was an exciting time. And our company built rocket engines. And in that day, our main line engine was the Titan, all the engines for the Titan missile. We also ended up with one of the engines on the space shuttle and one of the engines on the Saturn vehicle. So we had, it was a pretty exciting time to be there. But anyway, I met some friends, fellow engineers, and as the space age kind of wound down, they decided that they would go back to their home, which was in the Sonoma area, and start a winery. So I'm like, well, what are you guys doing? So I went. I said, well, let me tag along and see how you're doing, So I did, and more I got to working with them and thinking about the aerospace business kind of going downhill. I thought about back home here and whether we could grow grapes and make wine. And so I enlisted my friends, one of them in particular, to come up here and to look with me, survey the farm, the family farm here, and see what the potential was for, first of all, growing grapes, and then the potential for making wine. And so the more we looked at it, spent a lot of time at University of Davis in their wine program looking at that. They actually were very helpful. They were very interested in seeing what was going on in Oregon. It was like a new frontier back in those days, and so they were very, very helpful. In fact, Dr. Alley, who was the head of the viticulture department at the time, I kept quizzing him for so many hours, but finally he said, he says, what can I tell you? He said, if it was me, I would do it. Now, what else do you need? And so, in fact, Dr. Alley actually ended up buying a vineyard up near Eugene eventually. So he was very, very interested in the whole thing. So that's what got me started. So I came back to the farm with grapes under my arm, and we started planting grapes in 1972 here. And so we've been at it a while. We're still learning about how to grow grapes. Still making mistakes.
Come on, it's not rocket science.
Rocket science is actually easier. A lot easier. And so we started small, and the big area that you see here that's in ryegrass right now is, or sedan grass I might say, it was in prune orchards. Prunes were a big feature here back in the olden days. As much as they were in the Napa Valley also, was a lot of prunes there. And so this was all in prunes, and so the first ground that I had that I could plant without going into the prune orchard was where you see across this field. And we surveyed the ground, and we'll eventually, I think, start to fill in between here and there. But the interesting ground is actually a little further downriver. This is the old floodplain of the valley. Soils are fairly deep here. I mean, where we're standing can be 15 or 20 feet of soil, but because it's the old riverbed layered in gravel, comes to the top at times. So there's sections of the vineyard out there that's just almost total gravel, and so it varies all over the map. So it took us a while to survey it and to find out, where all the more interesting sites were, and that's where we are. We're kind of planting out in there. We're up to about 50 acres of grapes. We've been sort of sparked some interest in other people around the area. There's one planting of 100 acres going in, another planting of 150, just about a half mile away from here. So things are starting to expand a lot here. I think the Umpqua region was sort of overlooked for a long time. It's taken us a while to kind of become noticed in a way. More wineries makes a difference. When I started, there was only 3 or 4 wineries here, and now there's about 20 producing wine. We just started up the Umpqua Community College with a grape growing and winemaking program. We're looking that within 10 years, probably we will have somewhere in be over maybe 80 wineries here. So we're in kind of a fast expansion mode. We kind of slowed up for a year or two here while the economy has a burp. But I think that's going to be a great thing. And the school is really in on this. This whole area was pretty dominated, still is pretty dominated by timber. Timber business was almighty here. In fact, Roseburg out here is called the timber capital of the world. I mean, and they depended a lot on timber. Well, timber is slowly going down and out, and they're really looking hard here for other industries.